So now if we come back to display mode, you can come and see that if we are in our shading mode, okay, now if we do not select the object, we cannot see the lines. So in order to see the lines without selecting the object, you can see if I select the object, I can see all the lines. So if I want to see the lines, all the polygons without selecting the object, I will come to this shading mode. So now you can see even if I did not select the object, and still I can see the lines. For now you cannot understand what is the use of these things. Later on when we start modeling something specific, some object, you get to know about the use of this thing. This is very important. The second option is quick shading. So now you can see that I cannot see any line unless I select the object. The third mode is quick shading and lines. Fourth mode is constant shading. So you can see the difference between quick shading and constant shading. Constant shading is actually apply one solid color, as compared to the quick shading actually have some you can say shadows and diffuse and specular also. Constant shading is flat, and constant shading aligns means constant shading with the lines. And if you come and click only the lines, so it will become the wireframe. So now you can see the internal structure of also object. So let's go back to the basic shading mode. I have set up my shortcuts for all these buttons. If you can come and see F4, F5 and F3. To set up a shortcut, you need to come to the window panel, customize commands, and now this window will pop up. So let's suppose you want to set up a shortcut for this word go rod. It is weird word, go rod shading. So what I will do is I will come here, write GOU, whatever the name. I will select this object, and I have already a setup of shortcut F4. If I want to assign something else, for example F10, I will delete this one. So now it does not have anything. I want to change this shortcut, so I will just write 7 is my shortcut, and I will press assign, and it will ask that it is already assigned to something else. I don't care about I just want this one to work for this specific command, so I will just click yes. So now you can see the 7th is set up for this one. So I will get back to my default one. It is F4 and assign. Okay, so I will recommend that whatever shortcuts you want to, if you want to use their default shortcuts, you can use their default shortcuts. For example, now for quick shading you have to press N and C, first N and then C. And if you want constant shading, N, E. Why it is not working, I don't know. Yes, so you have to press all together NE. Okay, so this is how you can set up your shortcuts. Go to window, customize commands, and just write the name of that specific command which you want to set up a shortcut. The next thing, we delete this object and we create some object with different shapes from all sides. Let's suppose we create this figure. So I will just click this button, go to the create this figure. Okay, so now once we have this figure, now we are in the viewport and we can see it from all the sides. Now sometimes while modeling you want to see the left side, which is actually straight left side. So how you will go there, you will just click this button and you can see all the sides from here. So you have you want to change, come here, camera, and you can have left side here. So you can simultaneously work in all the 4 viewports. Okay, for example, you want to change something from right, you can work in the right viewport. If you want to change something in left, you can left side of the object, you can just work in the left viewport in front, same as. But I personally prefer to work in the single viewport, and I are constantly moving it in all the sides so that I can see it, that everything is going fine. This is my style of working. It is not necessary that you follow the same style. You can work either on all the different all 4 viewports, or you can one viewport. So you can see that I just select this object and collapse it. So once I collapse it, so now I can see that it has all the different, I'm just clicking this plus icon, it has all these objects. So it is made piece by piece. So this is one piece, second piece, third piece, fourth, fifth, sixth. So these are all in the hierarchy. The figure is the top hierarchy, then pelvis, left thigh, left shin, these all are hierarchy. So every single object is in a hierarchy. What this hierarchy is means, for example, this object is actually the child of this object. I think this is not the right example to explain this thing. I will create simple object. For example, cube. I just select these dots and make it little thinner. Okay, and then I want to duplicate this one. There are 2 options. Either select this option, add it copy and add it paste, or you can just hold Control and you can if you press Control and you click and drag, you can see now there's a black arrow there. It means it is ready to copy and paste. So I click and leave, so you can the new object has been created. So for example, near this new object, we just drag it here, and I want this to be the child of this object. So what I will do is I will just click and drag and leave under this one. So you can see now it becomes the child. What child means, now if I will move the parent, the child will move with it. So I will go to the move tool and click and drag. Now it is moving. So the child is also moving with the parent. Now if I want to move the child only, I will just come and select the child, and you can see I can move it independently as well, and still the child is there. So this is a relationship between child and parent. Let's model something very simple today to understand some modeling. So we create cube, and I just reduce the height of the cube in y-axis and move it 150 units above. I'm trying to make a table. So this is one piece. So now what I will do is just duplicate this one. Instead of going there again, model, make a new cube, I will use just the same one. Duplicate this one, move it down. Okay, you can come back always to all other viewports and see how is it working. So go to the point mode, select the move this tool, rectangle selection tool. Select this one, drag to this side, and then front side, drag to this side. So now you can come and see here in my viewport that actually it becomes small circle. So I will just come here to the left side now, click and drag. So now you can see I created a leg. Okay, now the problem, you can see now since I created this new cube, and if I will go back and select my main cube, this is, I will call it main cube, and this one I called leg _01. This is our first leg. Now the most important point here, you can see now when I select this main cube, this axis of rotation or move or scale, this axis actually is in the center of the object, while what I did is I just duplicate this same one and reduce is all the four sides and make it this small leg kind of a shape, but my axis is same on the same spot, which is weird now, because when I want to move, I want it to be on the same position now, where I want it to be the center of this object, not to the center of the old object. So what I will do is select this button, go to axis, go to mesh and axis center and center axis 2. So now you can see instantly it moves to the center of an object. And if I want this to be on top of the object, manually I can just come here and select this button. As soon as I select this button, it is showing that enable axis. So you can see now if I click this button, there are a white rectangle pops up. So I click this button and I just click and drag so now you can see my object is on the same place, but I can move up and down my axis, and I just want it to be on top of this one. That's it. So now my axis is on top of this one. So now I go back to my, let's suppose I want right front, I want here top viewport. So I will come here, change camera top. So now, and I want this one to be hidden lines, or not hidden lines from, yeah, see. So now I cannot see, still it's not see through, because from here display it's isopalm, I want it to be on wireframe, and from here lines and wireframe. So now I just move it inside a little bit. So now there should be of course 4 legs. So what we'll do is click Control and drag. This is also another way to copy. Okay, and we call it leg 02. Click and drag here and call it 3. Or the other way to copy is same, keep your viewport active, press Control, click and drag. So this is leg 04. Okay, so in this way you can model a very basic basic table. Okay, so what we did in this lesson is that we know what is vertex mode, what is edge mode, what is polygon mode, and we just get to know the move, rotate and scale tool. We get to know how to set up your customized shortcuts, and we just get to know about these modes of viewport. These are the very basics of Cinema 4D, and these are very important to understand and to grasp in the very beginning, so that later on when step by step we go to the advanced mode, it is easy for us to understand and to make the procedure and workflow faster. And one of your assignment for this week is you have to go and click and create all of the shapes, okay, and go to the object mode and check their properties, what each property does. Bottom radius, height, you can change and increase, you can increase and change the segments. Okay, so now you understand these segments are actually the increasing the number of polygons. Okay, so your assignment is go and create all these objects, move them side by side, go to their object properties and study what actually each option does. In this way it will be clear to you that what each object does, and later on if you want to model something, you should know that okay, I can model this object using tube or torus or cube or sphere. So if you know that what objects are already existed, which objects are already available in Cinema 4D, how you can use them to make something new. So your assignment is to go through all of them and check their properties. Okay, the next thing I will try to explain something called splines. Splines are actually same as something similar to 2D applications like Cinema or like Photoshop. Like you create lines there using the pen tool, so it is somewhat same. So the pen tool normally works in 2D, x and y axis only, there is no depth. So first we go and see all these options, like arc, as it says, it creates when you click it, it is okay. Let me tell you one important thing. By default your zoom option is S. If you come, suppose you are very far from the object you created, you want to go instantly close, instead of going click and drag, you just press S and it will come back to this one. I think this is the default zoom tool for this. Is sometimes behaves weird way. Edit preference. Yes, so did you see that sometimes this problem comes that when you when you move your viewport, it move in a weird way. So for that one you need to make sure that you are into edit preferences, and in navigation it has to be in object, because now if you see that whenever I want to move my viewport, it is actually taking my object as center. So I'm moving my selected objects around my selected object, so it has to be in camera mode object. This is a small tip. Anyways, so your assignment is also just to go there and create all these spline shapes. Also click them and go check their properties, what you can do with them. You can make it ellipse, radius, you can create circle, you can create helix. What is helix? You can create n-gon shapes. Go and check their properties. Rectangle, flower. So go through all of them, create them, and check all of them one by one. Pen tool is similar as in any other application. For example, we come to the top, you click, drag, and you can, at the end you have one spline. Okay, what is sketch is, you just click and drag. It's a sketching kind of a spline. Spline smooth is actually if you create some spline. For example, you create this spline and you want to make it smooth, you just come here and brush it like this and it becomes smooth. Okay, and this is actually creating a perfect circular spline art tool like this. Click, drag, it just maintain the continuity. Okay, so I would recommend them go them one by one and check yourself what each option does. And text, as it is straightforward, you just click this one and you can write some text here, some text. Change the font. Sometimes it is slow, you can change it. increase the height, horizontal spacing, if it is vertical spacing. So check all these options one by one, and that's it for this lecture.